Yeah, both are going to swap over to that Loki for sure, like you said. And now it's going to be a matter of what do either team do right against each other? Sentinels obviously can set up those flanks with Rymazing on that Namor, and Gomez going to constantly looking for these kidnaps. So that's going to be the biggest thing in these neutrals here, Shib, is which of these Wolverines can find those right. A lot of times goes aggressive first. We'll see if Gomez can set up one on his own.
Yeah, Wolverine mains really like this map. It does provide some alt angles, some ways to get behind virtually in every single path. So we are going to start the fight up here. Nothing too spectacular yet, as we are just kind of setting the pace. Walls go out early. Going to see some damage on the high side. Groot gets tackled, and the super jump from Wolverine sending him a mile back. But it looks like the escape might happen. Kurova going to fall early, as Gasklin getting a nice early pick there from, I'm assuming, the tackle from a Wolverine that we may have missed. Spark Chief going to start walling them off in that zone. They do a good job of resetting, but down goes 3 early on, and we're only less than a minute into this, and it's looking heavily on the favor of Fly for this first point.
The great wall of Spark Chief just closed out on Sentinels, and they don't even have a retouch here. I mean, maybe you can portal through, come back last second, but man, that was an amazing engagement from FlyQuest. Light with that kidnap, like you said, early on, opened it up, and then Spark Chief followed it through. Huge time bank now in Creep's face.
Yeah, went a little back and forth. I wasn't sure that was going to start. Nice turnaround Hogs here, getting the pace back towards their favor. Crystal's going to be burned over there from Aramori. Aramori on a Loki, not a pick I see too often from her. Obviously, a really insane strategist, does have those shot calls as well. Very strong player. I haven't seen too much Loki out of her, but I know she can do it. As we start again with the early pick, trying to get that pass. Ooh, not able to finish that KO there, or see if passive was burned, but it looks like they were able to escape, as this fight is going to be stalled here, waiting for these walls. Walls are very difficult to handle, but you can see Strange on both sides and not the Magneto, simply because of that jump. It does allow you to escape and gives you a way away from those walls. Nice pick there by Rymazing, taking out energy, giving a little bit of an early start here to this next fight.
Yeah, that was a nice push by Rymazing, now up in the advantage. FlyQuest still trades back Gomez. Ultimates come out on both sides. Walls as well to block both whales alongside the Fate of Both Worlds, but a nice freeze on the Kaluge. It's going to slow his progress. Also, Ayamakamoto still ready to go. So many strategist ultimates here, Ship, to stall out this fight.
Yeah, one of the beauties about Strange is that ultimate isn't considered activated fully until after he says the line to you. If you cancel it, it brings it right back to 50, which is not devastating, as Light is going to take out too early, make that 3 and 4, as FlyQuest is absolutely steamrolling right now with a ton of confidence.
Yeah, the eventual ultimate from Light, also the follow-through was clean. 3 minutes and 54 seconds left to go. FlyQuest did commit a lot of ultimates at the very least, so Sentinels can come back with their own. We'll see what FlyQuest opts to do. If they get an early kidnap, that might force some early plays out of Sentinels as they set up. But also the spawn trap came through from the Doctor Strange, and guess who's caught out? It's Gomez over the top side. Portal's now removed. He has to touch the point, go in with the ultimate as well to sustain. But Gomez eventually going to be down in this fight. Portal comes in late. Kaluge! Ayamakamoto is massive.
Wow, what a play! I honestly was not sure if they were going to be able to get there in time, but they had a ton of space. They had to push first, as we are going to burn this passive early on the side of Light, and he is going to pay for it as Rymazing gets a nice pick there to even out the numbers. Groot down on the side of Hogs, falling down early for Sentinels. Not much you can do when you've got the scratchy post happening here. Nice pick again. Rymazing trying to take back this pacing, saying it's not over yet. But come on, we got to regroup and make things happen, as we do see an insane retake from the Strange portal there.
Ryan's looking good on the Namor so far. Has had the better of energy, even though they're back in the series right now. 2 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock for FlyQuest. That portal blocked by Gasklin almost closed it out for them, but Gomez, realizing what was happening, went towards the cart, popped passive, and sacrificed his life to continue this team fight going on.
Yeah, just for the chat to understand, when you are portal blocking, you got to treat it like a slinky, okay? So make sure you're thinking about that with your portals. If you want to portal off a zone, it is a slinky. One of them is going to have to be backwards, because it just creates a tunnel to push you back into your spawn again. We saw a ton of success there, really well done by Gasman. I was curious if it was going to be too much space to have to take with that portal, and it turns out it was. But great touch there on the hold from Gomez, allowing them to get enough time to come in with an insane ultimate from Kaluge, taking that fight as we do start again. Gasklin trying to start an early bit of damage, and we are going to see some dance floors. Out goes the Fate of Both Worlds energy with a nice pick there on Kaluge. That is going to be huge to see early on. The whale falls, doesn't connect, not enough, as we are seeing a dive in from Gomez, who is going to take out 2, and that is a very good start, but immediately gets taken right back as Sparky is going to be taking out Gomez. Numbers back in as it's almost even. Again, the Light and Spark Chief saying, we want this, and they are going to push this thing 2.2.
That was a beautiful wall by Spark Chief. I mean, I don't even know positioning-wise what exactly happened with Aramori in the dance floor, but they just perfectly placed that wall. Spark Chief did, and they were able to find the follow-up through that support ultimate, the strategist ultimate to keep everybody alive was not there. However, Sentinel is coming back for that recontest. I mean, they're swapping to Captain America all into stall, but is it going to work out versus FlyQuest?
Yeah, it's really tough to retake into a group comp. I like the changes, but it is, you know, I guess they have the confidence to make it happen. I was 99% sure it was going to be taken right there, and yeah, it is. As it is just like you said, you got it. When you shut down those zones with Groot, those walls, it's just too much time to have to burn and focus them for you to get in there. And they did use that teleport, obviously, early to retouch there, so it didn't have any real resource besides forcing a stagger on point, which did buy them some time. So may have been valuable, but is it valuable enough to ensure they have enough time to stop point 3, which we have seen a lot of shutdowns here in this tournament?
I think teams have gotten way better at defending throughout the tournament, and Sentinels, you know, to be able to hold, to be already in third phase with 2 minutes on the clock isn't ideal. Gomez does get a kidnap on the other side to start things off as well. Missed ultimate from Light potentially might cost FlyQuest this fight.
Yeah, that's a good early take there by Gomez. You like to see that, and they are going to play off at Hogs. Nice job with the 2K down. Goes Gasklin and Zelos, so they're going to force them back into the spawn. They don't have TP up yet, but you can actually return a portal block here on defense at this exact spawn. We did see this earlier in the tournament, but not going to happen now as they are just waiting that time out. 1 minute and 30 on the clock as we have roughly a max of 2.5 fights before the stagger begins and the fights get intense. Good dive there by Gomez, taking out Gaston, who could not escape those walls.
Yeah, good pressure. However, Hawk triggered on their side, so it's a 1-for-1 ultimate committed. Oh my gosh, what a connection! But the fate of both worlds like Cooper to counter it.
I'm ready to put on a show.
Yeah, and here we go as we do see the dance floors. No connection there with the whales yet, as I don't believe. There's a good tackle there on a Amazing, who's not able to escape Light with great positioning. Those tackles forcing them away from Fate of Both Worlds and often different angles. Getting them away from strategists is where you see that real nuance to Wolverines who just understand the game at another level. Man, do I hate being a Vanguard from the Wolverine out here. And we are seeing a ton of pressure from both sides as Light gets 2, and they are taking this space right back. Make that 3 as Gaston follows up on Aramori, and they are doing a great job here. FlyQuest has 42 seconds on the clock.
If you're wondering why it's so hard for Aramori to heal Kalush, even with the Fate of Both Worlds on top of him, these shield blocks by Gasklin just constantly making sure that Fate of Both Worlds is not in a good spot is resulting in these ultimates not getting a ton of value. So great work from the Vanguards of FlyQuest so far.
Yeah, beautifully well put. People don't understand that Strange's Shield actually can wall things off like he mentioned there, the Luna All, but also things like Namor, as we do see a dive from Light early. They are going to own that space on the height. Good positioning here by the Sentinels. At this point, this is the choke that makes it very difficult to take. Positioning has a little bit more advantage, obviously spawn advantage here on defense as well, as they are just trying to hold. There goes the attempt at an off angle from Amazing, gets shut down by Energy. Gomez falls from Energy. Good pick early there, and there go the squids. Will who's find more value? Nobody just yet, but the numbers should be in the favor so far of FlyQuest.
Yeah, they are. They just walk forward. Whale also comes through with the Groot ultimate, blocked by the backside, but Light trying to kind of take people out of the ultimate. Into the slam with the damage boost from the Fate of Both Worlds. That's 2 for FlyQuest right now.
Light just showing up when it matters. Amazing with a nice pick back there on Cooper. Great pick too, as it does fall onto the shoulders of Luna. Well done by Zelos to pick back Amazing. The numbers going back and forth as Gomez takes out Gasklin. Once again, it's just so back and forth. Sentinels holding on. Good tackle. The scratching post is out, and Groot's they struggle to live through that as Spark Chief falls. A tackle directly right back. 20 HP is the number we just saw on the screen as Gomez goes down, but not out. Great work by Aramori there with the crystals too to buy some additional time. We did see a lot of those crystal cancellations on the whale, and Sentinels are going to hold this before point 3.
Yeah, no teleporter there for Gasklin because he used the portal earlier.
And they made things happen, but yes, it is very much all about this first point as we're going to see the tempo.
And it's interesting to me how the play styles of FlyQuest has changed. Energy on this. Namor has been sort of playing backline, playing towards the, group, not really flanking as much, whereas Amazing forced to do that a bit more on the defensive side, it looked like. So the roles have kind of switched. Light has been the one to constantly sit on these flank angles and take those positions, whereas Energy just making sure his front line has a ton of presence.
Yeah, I like this space take off the rip. They are going to use that point. It's just difficult to take space with a Groot around. As long as you have jump on Strange, that's okay. You can escape. But with a Wolverine, not only do you have to use your jump for Wolverine and Groot, you got to decide which one's more important. And when you don't have something like Invis on the table to save you from Wolverine, the numbers get a little scarier once you see those damage. Nice throw there by Spark. It's a very early pick there on a crucial player as we do lose our Amori with the Loki crystals, obviously so valuable. Nice early damage, Barchief. They're still holding that space, which I'm surprised they're not resetting just yet. It seems like they don't need to. They're confident in the solo heals. But yes, Kurova held on, did enough there to keep them in the fight, and the numbers should be coming back as Aramori is going to retake here. Pick, not enough to make something happen. The point still pressuring forward. Amazing with a nice pick there on energy, and we like to see that matchup. You mentioned a lot. It's been very back and forth between those two as we see the strangling prison out, and when we find a pick down, goes Light Hogs, and then immediately going to be popping off with the Eye of Agamotto. Back and forth, but here in the Fate of Both Worlds, the dance begins.
The dance begins. Amazing finally shows himself. He was in the flank the whole time into this fight. They're trying to progressively overload on top of FlyQuest. Gasland gets deleted with the Eye of Agamotto. That ultimate is now removed.
One thing I will mention that definitely happened there is they did actually use both strategist ultimates, I believe, roughly at the same time. There wasn't enough of a stagger between them. There was some overlap, which, you know, is just a small thing, but maybe if that overlap didn't happen, it could have bought them more time to stay in the fight. So we did see Cooper pop that roughly near Zelos, who obviously as Loki can get that back pretty quick, so the numbers are flying. But just something small that we did see during that fight, which maybe would have helped them. But yes, great work there by the Sentinels to push through point one.
And I love how Amazing's playing so far on the Namor. Definitely shades up Delena. He's just constantly hard flanking, making sure FlyQuest is uncomfortable, and the front line is punished because of it.
Yeah, and here we go. Gomez gonna get that pick on Gasland early. Energy gonna take out Hogs. Back and forth as Amazing takes out Light. It's just the dance here. Back and forth as we see the whale. Not able to connect too much. Bartree falls. Sentinels on an absolute rampage. Will we see the portal block here? Yes, it is coming out. Will it stuff everyone, or is there gonna be some people that sneak out? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly. I mean, they made it far enough at this point. You do have a few members get stuck in the spawn. Rise is pushing, making sure nobody can touch. And I think FlyQuest just giving up on this, just wants to regroup, understanding the situation they're in, reset for next fight.
Read like a textbook. We called it earlier. Get a pick. You set that portal block, and point two suddenly becomes a ton easier. And this is why Strange performs so strong at this specific map. It's a lot of opportunities for game-winning portals as they have almost 5 full minutes to push this past and get to that third point to end the first round.
I mean, he's doing it again. Rise in the flank, ready to go. Copy comes out. He knows that he has to play slow. I have on the front line, so it's met by Super Gomez to combine. Beautiful work from Sentinels.
Yeah, nice pick there. Kaluj, Gomez back and forth, taken out too early, giving them a slight advantage in this fight. As we do see the fade pop, there's that flank. Namor, an impressive and potentially the strongest flanker in the game, showcasing why right there.
Yeah, maybe predicting FlyQuest to win the series this early was not the play, considering how Sentinels look right now. They look amazing. Very early ultimate. Just a follow-up there, though.
Yeah, you know, we had some words about, like, we haven't seen Hogs too much on the Vanguard group, but, you know, just performing here as a team, making it happen, not falling too much to that pressure. Amazing with an early pick again. Sentinels just finding these early value prior to the fight, which gives them enough of an advantage. And here comes the Eye of Agamotto. I believe it gets shielded up, does find some value. They are going to, an immediate KO, throwing him towards the backline. Gomez finds Gasland, trying to find another. Yep, as Light and Cooper go down.
Yeah, both of them fall. Sentinels look to close it out now, and that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful, man. They get it done. Map number 1. Star-Lord, we've seen him on Magic. We've seen him on a lot of other heroes. Now flexing over to that Loki, kind of being that duelist player who shows a ton of flexibility. That's what you like to see out of a pro player.
Kalu's gonna take the space right now, set him up. Not gonna use that rocket combination. Don't think they need it. Instead, there's a ton of space on this map, a ton of verticality, so the group walls don't have nearly as much lockdown impact as you would on something like a convergence map or something that's more lane focused. Fighting on the right side now, they do own the center, so the height is in their advantage. Kalu's gonna own the point and just try to buy time. The big advantage of having that teleport is you will get it back before the end of the map, as there is enough time to retouch later on. As we do see a bunch of damage off the rip. Nice pick there from Gaston. Returned immediately by Amazing, taking out Light, as we are going to be down a Vanguard. But no, the res up from Light, that did not matter to them, and we will see that return back and forth with this Guardians comp.
I don't know how Gomez was still alive on that backside angle. Regardless, FlyQuest now able to walk forward and just kind of dissipate Sentinels, right? They just have all of those healing, or all of that healing, all of that sustaining. Like you said, that res just brought life back into the fight, making that pick kind of negligible.
Yeah, and we've talked about this too, and I do think it's worth mentioning. I mean, when you do get a pick, there's something that changes in your mental, and you just see it as an immediate drop. And now you got to change that mental process to think, does that count? Did they have the cooldown? Is he going to res? Is he going to find a better position and then retake? It's a very different mentality, and honestly, a lot of the time they will have someone focused on that in the map, whether it's a strategist, a vanguard, or a duelist. It's kind of up to them, or just a team open comm situation. But we are seeing a fair amount of damage, and Light has great positioning here with 40% on the clock.
Brute ultimate started off, forces the ultimate out. Oh no, the wall! They couldn't get there in time to save Gomez, and he doesn't have the res because they don't have the Adam Warlock.
Yeah, and that goes to show you the value, right? I mean, Gomez, oh my goodness! Taking Amazing out of the sky! Gasklin with an absolute dunk on the forehead. Great meatball, Meteor M. Goodbye. Well done.
No, he only died because Kaluja's shield was there. Amazing was in the sky, setting up the Kraken impact, and Kaluja was like, hey, buddy, I'm here to help you. And then, no, he just used it as a way to freaking rebound it into Amazing's dome.
Oh, man. Yeah, you still take damage. The shield is not the end-all, be-all. Anybody in those off angles in front of the shield, left or right, will take the full impact of the damage, especially if they're close enough. Really insane situation there, as we are going to reset this next fight. A lot of the time, you'll see these Magnetos hold that bubble, allowing, oh my goodness, nice pick there by Gaston, taking out Gomez. But what we were going to mention is Light, you'll see dive in a ton with Star-Lord, and they use that bubble to help that ultimate come back super fast, because if you're spinning with Star-Lord on a stack of 5 or 6, you will just see your ult charge climb like there's no tomorrow. Good pull in there, as we do see the Bucky play. Is going to wall off as Gaston's going to reset to the team. We are going to see that pop right now. Galactic Legend and Naramori following up to take out Gaston. Numbers back on the side of Sentinels as we're getting the return here from Gomez, taking out Light. And we do see the res up from Zealous. Will they follow up? Great! Eye of Agamotto, but unfortunately, we do see that dance floor to even things out and slow the pace a little bit.
Yeah, slows it up, brings it back into it. I thought that res was going to come through and be disgusting. Meanwhile, the low ground, Amazing singles out Cooper. That's a huge pick for them, as they've been down and out, it feels like, throughout so far. But they capped the point, and also FlyQuest on the back foot.
Yeah, it looks like ults are roughly even to the economy. Well done there during those fights by Sentinels to not overcommit. Kurova holding on to the fate of both worlds, and they still have Amazing ready with the Kraken impact, which we know how strong that can be at this level of play. But now Fly does have that cancel out with Gasklin. Can Gasklin rain that meatball, that meteor onto Kurova is always the question. But then it comes down to the answer of, do they have something that can stuff it? Those Loki crystals, that Magneto bubble, all those cooldowns need to go bye-bye if you want to make a play. So it's very difficult to force that to work out, but we do see a lot of success as we do see the crystals pop immediately.
The crystals pop, but the Meteor M to be free. Aramori falls. That's brutal for them moving forward. A lot of ultimates put on the other side. FlyQuest disengaged it, actually used their own ultimate, and also disengaged on the backside. Amazing with the Kraken impact, not going to find anything, in fact, due to the fact that there's so much short strategist ultimates here to keep them alive.
Yeah, they wanted to commit everything. FlyQuest really committing to this fight, because if they win it, it should be enough. And there's a good set of damage. Zelo's going to drop Gomez. Gasklin going to take out Amazing Light with Hogs, and down goes the squad as they retake the point.
Overtime ticks. Kaluj was the last one to fall. They're not going to have TP for another 3 seconds. People maybe going to touch. I don't know. You do have somebody here. I mean, Kaluj can get the teleporter. No, Kaluj or Aramori, and has practiced a ton of it. So making that switch, making that transition has been big for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's in the back of their pocket. I mean, top healing right now, too, for Adios, coming in with only getting KO'd 1 time. Positioning is key when you're on Strategist. It's virtually everything. That's the stat line you want to look at when you're a Strategist. It just goes to show me that you know where your positioning is. You know how to get out of those ultimates and have the cooldowns when you need them to avoid big plays. Really well done by Adios on the first game. We have eyes on him during this Invitational. Here we go as Kaluj getting shoved back by the walls. And we are going to see some pops as we hear the Kraken impact by Amazing. Going to reset off some of these clones, and they are going to keep the pressure off. Kaluj going to take out Gaskin and put the numbers back in the Sentinels' favor.
Yeah, Boring getting committed by Zelos early there to bring back FlyQuest, or bring back Gasklin. I thought Cooper could have gone down due to that hook earlier, but Sentinels take full advantage, also get that res out early.
Yeah, good ult there by Spark, trying to find the squad, but gonna get answered there as we do see Aramori copy the dance floor, and they are gonna stay. Oh my goodness! Gaskin Gasklin gonna take out Aramori, right? Amazing. And down goes Corova after, and FlyQuest gonna retake this position and get that percentage right back.
This is the difficulty about both of these teams and going against 100 Thieves later, right? Nobody, I mean, you try to block off Gasklin's ultimate, you try to get rid of the Meteor M, but nobody's been able to disengage it as well as we've seen 100 Thieves do so. So great job by Gasklin there. You kind of need to play around that Meteor M even harder next time.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it always is a struggle to me to understand just the knowledge of these cooldown timers to that extent, being able to always ensure you find value. And we're just seeing a ton of success. Kaluj with a mean Eye of Agamotto, gonna take out Cooper, and Gasklin falls to Gomez, but Light gonna turn that around. Amazing. Hogs on the Zelos. The numbers going back and forth, and at this point, they're just gonna use this dance floor just to hold on to point. Fate of both worlds popped on both sides. 12 seconds of just dancing away without a care in the world.
And watch out during this fight, we might see another res by Zelos come through. Brute ultimate on the backside does connect, but Sentinel's there with the peel into the back line. Goes the Meteor M, doesn't find the connection. They rely on Stratus ultimates now to sustain them. Also, Rymazing could go aggressive with the Kraken impact on top of Gomez. Into the back line. There's too many ultimates now for FlyQuest to deal with. Sentinels have brought it back. People are just kind of just delaying now on FlyQuest side.
Aramori and Corova on the Lunas with the copy just raining, getting those final hits, showcasing how strong they can be. The hit scan on Luna is no joke. But one thing we want to mention here, we're talking about all these reses. Note that when you play Warlock, you'll see these reses early, right? Finding value with one res, and then they walk into the point, because Warlock is essentially a beacon for the res. You don't need to be near the big globe itself. You need to have the res, or whoever falls, near the body of Warlock. So Warlock will then run in towards his team just to ensure that they get those rests off behind where the globe truly is. So sometimes they'll pop those early. For those of you who are curious, and we see an Eye of Agamotto, we see the dance, the fate of both worlds. Amazing takes out Adios for one of the few times he's been KO'd. And we are going to see this pressure again. Well done there by Gomez. And this looks like Sentinels are back on their toes, sprinting back in and getting these early picks.
Yeah, FlyQuest just going to go for a regroup. Zelos not going to use the passive, has to walk all the way back through spawn. One last fight now here for FlyQuest as they regroup. The pressure is on. Sentinels understand where FlyQuest is. They've got ultimates against Sentinels as well, and that should be able to match them on this fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There is a little bit of an alt advantage. Not a little bit at this point, a lot. We are going to see Aramori and Hogs. And there, we're immediately going to see that strangling prison by Spark Chief. It doesn't matter as long as you get one, and they do find value as Kaluj goes down. FlyQuest is able to get an early lead, but will this dunk be impactful? Unfortunately, not quite yet. Great placement there, great focus. Try to turn that around as we do see Gasklin going to be taking out Hogs. And once again, FlyQuest should be taking this point, as they are going to be sweeping the side of Sentinels, who just need to get these ults back up and ready to go for one final fight.
Yeah, I thought maybe Sentinels had a chance there with the teleporter from Cluj, just holding on to it. Oh, he's using it right now as they want to go back to the point. I mean, they know he's going for the TP now. Sentinels go for that map flip, but they don't have anybody back yet. And everybody's so low on Sentinel's side, too. They're going to force out ultimates early from Sentinels as they take this early poke.
I will say that's a bit of a thought process error there. Walking away, not expecting a TP when it wasn't used recently. That's a good early cap. Getting that cap on point does help them get that percentage back to make a big play. Or actually, at this point, just to slow down this pace of fly. Excuse me. Amazing taking out Adios early. Dunking on the entire squad with the Eye of Agamotto. Great picks there as they are going to push forward onto the clones.
And they push forward on the clone. The resets also come through. Meanwhile, Gomez towards the point. Oh, no! Didn't get the healing. FlyQuest now back into the fight. They also have ultimates coming up very soon. Aramori's ultimate is now here. Hogs, what are you going to do with this Meteor M? Can he connect on the super? You can.
Oh, my. As we do lose another. Cooper goes down. Adios turns out on Aramori, though. And it looks like FlyQuest has this advantage. Fate of both worlds going to be popped here if needed. But buying that 16 seconds prior to using the ultimate is give you max advantage. Using it when needed. Well done there. And it kind of gets the brain off of the fact that, look, he had just ulted because you don't expect it. FlyQuest looks like they might take this thing and get this map completed and even out this score.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get it done. I mean, you swap over to Desperation Heroes right just to touch the objective. FlyQuest Get the job done and
to stick on top of that. That's a crazy position. The team's always electing to hold this high side here, trying to get a little bit of alt charge early. Obviously, going to be a little bit traded. This has been a very common defensive position. You'd want to hold high ground, and having a Groot as they push this high ground, walling off whoever attempts to take that choke will pay for it, but no value as Wolverine was waiting, and they almost could sense it, so they did not press that angle, electing to choose to fight on the bottom side until they get over towards the bridge.
Yeah, no team sort of enacting a flank. Maybe Light looked for it, but now we got grabbed by Gomez. Gomez meanwhile stunned on the other side, and Kaluj able to follow up on a Spark Chief. Nice walls there from Hogs, and follow-up from Sentinels gives them the person advantage early on.
Yeah, I like seeing Hogs on the Groot. You know, we were talking about the change, and I think it seems like they're going to get rid of that ban focus and instead just say, Hogs, you got this for us, right? You're versatile. Make these off tanks play. And Groot, at this point, is an every tank. Man can do virtually everything. And here we go as the fight starts progressing. Zelos trying to take some space with the bubble. Unfortunately, not able to do so. Oh, I lied! As Hogs gets deleted, and we are going to see a follow-up as Light is going to chase in and take out Gomez, giving them enough space to push this towards the ambulance, as they are going to force back and reset.
Yeah, Zelo's sort of putting a team on the back right now, constantly getting pulls, making sure Sentinels are caught out, and also Kaluj got stuck, pulled in the backside, forcing early banter from Kurova. But who's here with the Meteor M? The bubble, and the follow-up comes back down, but no connection. Great work, great timing from Sentinels.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was there in terms of cooldown to keep that from happening. Maybe just not enough charge there on Gaslin's Meteor to do enough damage. It did collide with the domes of two. Unfortunately, got not enough value. Good jump there by Energy as they follow up and take out Kaluj. Will they find more? Try to get out of it. Gonna make sure they reset on the clones. Keep hitting everyone as much as possible through that Groot ultimate. And they are finding a ton of value as Energy sweeps the entirety of the team with one of those Kraken impacts, just setting up the HP clean. And the team's able to do enough damage to essentially reset and force everyone out back to map and point two, excuse me.
Man, that was smooth from Energy, man. That dodge showing prowess on the Winter Soldier. Last second, I mean, I'm sure Kaluj thought that he had him dead to rights, and he definitely did. Not until Energy last moment just teleports out of the fight and comes back through. The Groot walls also follow up onto the Strangling Prison. Results in FlyQuest now having a good time bank in the second phase of the map.
Yeah, Ryan Amazing took that slow while in the sky, waiting for that Strangling Prison to pop from Hogs. Excuse me, my fault, opposite. We had to go Energy and waiting for the Strangling Prison from Spark, and oh my goodness, it's gonna sweep directly back as they are shoving through. Sentinels retaking this space. But what I was gonna say is Energy kind of played that slow, reset off the clones because they do not get healed during that invisible barrier. Reset, then the Strangling Prison from Spark was able to pop, get the third reset, and then land on the entirety of the rest of the team. Really well played and really good patience there by Energy and Spark Chief.
Yeah, and they take that reset in stride because Sentinels commit salts. They had really nothing. That was destined to be a Sentinels win. Now in this case, early hook starts things off onto Hogs. Brutal spot. Boundary aggressive saves him, however.
Yeah, we are going to see this retaken fight again. Good shots there by Energy, getting the early pick onto Hogs. Good dome connection. The cooldowns are all going to be virtually pulled out there. And here we go. Meteor M in the sky, potentially trying to buy them enough with an early pick. Not able to find any value with it just yet. They are going to collide in. We do see the double invisible as we see these barriers, these boundaries popped. The Venn diagram. And there's another pick onto their side as Fly is going to keep pressing forward on the side of Sentinels, falling down a number. They're going to keep this pressure up, shoving them towards the spawn door, and we aren't going to see a wall up just yet as they are going to retake, but no, the aggression's out, the reset's out. Down goes one, Energy going to take out Ryan Mason. Good early pick. Make that two as Aramori. Make that three as Kaluj does get the reset again. Now just going to do the hit at the clones. Just hold out this timer, 5 seconds, waiting for that last possible second to try to get one more.
Yeah, I think Energy saw those crystals were used super early, just comes back through immediately with the follow-up on the Kraken impact. Not a lot of time left either. They have to come through and touch with ultimates right now.
That would have been an insane pick if they were able to turn over there and make something happen onto Gomez. As Wolverine in the off angle, we do see Hogs popping out the Strangling Prison. It does get one. That's a good early pick on a Cooper. Not going to have one of those strategists. Down go Crystal's potential, but does get absolutely smoked there. Turns it around right back. We don't see much value out of the last stand from Wolverine. And yeah, it looks like Sentinels, even though some of those elephants didn't find value, are still going to walk this back home. And FlyQuest is going to have to reset with 1 minute and 40 on the clock.
And that's a crucial pick off they got onto Zelos there in the middle of the fight, right? If he lived, maybe they could have come back because Sentinels were lacking some ultimates. I mean, also, Zelos alive for the copy for Cooper, right? That's the difficulty. That's why having Invisible Woman alongside the Loki, it's so important to keep this Invisible Woman alive, because if she's not, guess what? That Loki ultimate doesn't really do anything. You can't copy anybody else except other strategists because, I mean, it's just strategist ultimates are that so strong in this game. So right now, Sentinels high up the ultimate game, and this could be a very interesting fight moving forward with a minute left.
Yeah, FlyQuest ready to hit the Q button very soon. Gaslit is going to press it first. Wait for these crystals. Somebody burn them if possible. Bang! Down! Goes two! An insane set of picks there, but we do go back. No! It's not going to matter. FlyQuest, 3 down. Up 2 here. As this fight's going to progress, they are going to make that up. Oh, wow. The whole team gets swept here, and down it goes everyone as FlyQuest is going to shove this towards point 3. What a toss there. Incredible work by Gaslit.
2 minutes left to go. Great job from Gaskin. Like you mentioned, FlyQuest follow-up was perfect. 2 minutes now. Sentinels on their side, right? They've got that ultimate ready to go for Hogs. They have Amazing with the follow-up too, if necessary. Meanwhile, you know, it's going to be a lot on these Winter Soldiers. It feels like the fights are dictated on which Winter Soldier gets the hook here, who has the follow-up utility to save them, who uses their crystals first. A lot of these cooldowns are huge.
Yeah, I mean, the coordination of understanding when to drop those crystals to have that Meteor M land on 2 in the backline was just genius. Kalush gonna fall early from Gaskin, right? Amazing, turning that right around on energy, saying, hey, this ain't over yet. Let me get some value here. And they do have the jump reset ready for that Kraken impact. Nice tackle there by Gomez. Down goes Cooper, right? Amazing finding value. Gomez gonna take out Spark Chief. The scratching post gets diced up. Wolverine at 30 HP. Wow, good positioning.
Yep, and Sentinels taking advantage of just having Kraken impact energy, not having it necessarily just yet, and you can see the value of that ult. I mean, it's one of the best in the game right now, and the follow-up was really there from Sentinels alongside Amazing. Sentinels, 1 minute left to go, pretty much last fight territory now.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we've seen a lot of defense holds start off. Surprisingly, honestly, wouldn't expect it to be this very first angle, as the reses are actually in the favor of attack. Gomez fighting 3 like an absolute demon. Put those claws away, trying to sweep everybody on the side of Fly. And we'll have one more fight, unless the staggering is a little too much, but no. Wow.
Don't know how
that was turned around, yeah.
I definitely called too early first last fight territory. I mean, it wasn't. FlyQuest now comes back in, has that advantage now too. I mean, that's massive shit that Kurova used that, because now in this next fight, they're going to be lacking it against FlyQuest to have Kraken impact.
Yeah, we do see a combination. They can do the strangling prison into the Meteor M. We could see something like that, but the momentum is definitely back with the turnaround into Sentinel's favor. I can see them playing more confidently. It's something they need to have. Obviously, you play a little bit on your heels. They did have some issues, just really well-placed ultimates. As we do see that early, Kraken impact goes up too. Does land on a few. Nobody falls just yet as the reset does go through on a clone, though. Spark Chief trying to do some damage to Gomez. Down goes Gomez early. The jump right back at him as Light takes out 2. And they are going to follow up. We do see, oh, wow, Cooper and Zelos on the invis copy. Light going to finish him up as they are pressing in with just overtime on the clock, trying to get as much space as possible.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be one too many ultimates committed by FlyQuest there, but now, I mean, they do have Kraken impact ready to go. Spark Chief can build the strangling prison. They can end it all. Gomez on the other side has been huge with these last stands with his own Wolverine ultimates. We'll see if FlyQuest can close out in overtime. Not a lot of time on the clock either, so if they get off the cart, they're in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting dicey on both sides. Energy could have a massive ultimate. Kurova at 94, though. Just trying to get that. Oh, my goodness, the boundary is up now. Right, Amazing. Gonna take out Gaskin early. That's a very big pick. Gomez sitting on that ult for the last stand, ready to launch. Aramori taking out Energy. Sentinels are holding, doing a great job, playing slow and confident as we lose Light as well. Cooper goes down. Spark Chief goes down. And just like that, Sentinels are gonna hold before point 3. But truth comes to, honestly, like when push comes to shove, you realistically just want to land on supports with that ability, because you have so much push potential. You have so much free push away from a zone that can push people out of something like Fate of Both Worlds. You can push them out of that invis boundary. It just has so much value out of just being a tank buster instead. Oh, and there goes Gomez with a great tackle onto a strategist like I mentioned. And they do get one early on. Well done by Gomez.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Gomez is flying there, they prioritize giving the rocket jump pack to him so he gets kidnapped, flies to the skybox, and I mean, that's going to dictate the fight here. I mean, that should be able to give them a good spot. Also, FlyQuest on that Penny Parker, just trying to play around that cart, get a lot of damage down range, but eventually they're going to fall just one by one.
Sentinel's looking really good right now on this attack. Oh, the Penny was out. I honestly didn't even catch a light on the Penny. Did try to play Penny on this map for the first KO as well. We might see a switch again, which did happen last time. You know, Penny does have a space in the meta somewhere, but no, yeah, we are going to see that switch as Light is back on the Wolverine, trying to get rid of that group. But yeah, that was a really strong attack there for the side of Sentinels.
In the neutrals, that's where these teams make their money. Amazing getting hooks on defense. Now Gomez getting kidnaps on the offense. Going again, very aggressive spot. Maybe setting up the Strangling Prison.
Yeah, I like this early start here. Holding up for the Strangling. You know that combination with Crack and Impact.
Oh,
What happened here?
Even.
Oh my goodness, I was wondering where the Strangling Prison was. I thought I heard it. It did go off, but Amazing says, I don't need it. Let me find one. Does reset back to the team. Doesn't want to play too aggressive, knowing there wouldn't be much value, and decided electing to not try to reset up until it was available. Playing it safe, which is a smart play after getting an early pick like that. All you need is one. Oh my goodness, out of the sky goes energy. Sentinels just keeping this pace.
Are you freaking kidding me, Sentinels? That was amazing. I mean, a terrible start, first of all, right? Throwing the Strangling Prison, Iron Curtain met to block it, just to suck it up. On the other side, you went in with the Crack and Impact on energy, booped by Karova, then finished up by Amazing. Great work from the Sentinel side, and you can see why Karova, one of the best invisible women in the game.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Just built just a little bit different there, as I thought that was not going in their favor. And you can see maybe a little lack of play in terms of that Hog's Ult. You know, it's difficult to make a Groot ult happen when you still have that Magneto curtain up ready to launch. But yeah, didn't connect there. It didn't matter. Mason still got that early pick. Elected to go back to his team instead of trying to find more, which may have been clearly was the correct decision. Still able to get that pick on energy. His energy trying to fly in there. But we do have a heavy ult advantage here on the side of FlyQuest, as they are trying to deal some serious damage. Right there, the dunk finds one as Hawk goes down, Kaluge goes down, Light back on that Wolverine, a terrifying force as the entirety of the Sentinels is going to reset.
Is this like the exact situation we saw on the defense? Like, Sentinels come in, don't commit any ultimates, FlyQuest commit one. I mean, this is pretty much just exactly what happened. Now Sentinels, we know, have the ultimate advantage, put themselves in a good spot going into this next fight. FlyQuest, if they're able to get a fight win now, I mean, that's a huge momentum shift.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, ult advantage heavily on the side of Sentinels. If FlyQuest, you're right. If they do win this fight, obviously that means something went awry, but no good start there as they do try to find No, does not happen on Gomez, but Nuts in the back end. Hogs and Amazing going to find two more, making it back in their favor. So the trade was worth it. Maybe the distraction was enough as we do pop the boundary.
Yeah, I mean, it's even right now on the backside. The Sentinels wanting a momentum, wanting a seam, like you said. Magneto ult into the sky. Can he connect? Bubble use? No connection. It's back in Spark Chief, getting all the connections on the low ground. All of Sentinels removed. What a shift in the momentum right now.
Yeah, Spark Chief just following up on that Meteor M. The Meteor M did a fair amount of damage, and then you know how strong Groot can be, reloading his arms like Henry Cavill and just throwing them into the backline, who gets dunked on and just makes the KO happen as they are able to keep this on the defense here. Really well done by FlyQuest. We're now very close to getting those ults back and equalizing the advantage. It's just, at this point, it's an even fight.
Yeah, even fight. The pickoffs, though, again, I mean, you can see how aggressive FlyQuest is playing, setting up for these pushes, maybe forcing an early ultimate out of Sentinels. That's their priority. We'll see if they can get something out of them really early. In fact, they're going to toss their own Strangling Prison really aggressive deep.
Hogs, nice play there. Did find value, but didn't even have to use the prison. And here we go, as one should be launched here, waiting for that Iron Curtain to fall. Just looking at the backline. Who's going to get hit? Throw the bubble out. Does find value. Really well done there by Kaluge. Good patience. Turn around. Know your HP will keep you up. Gastelum going to follow there. Kaluge putting on a masterclass of patience here with the Magneto. Still going to push them out of that zone. Trying to find value on to Spark Chief. No. At this point, they're just trying to hold. FlyQuest falling one by one. Kaluge getting even more value. Great eye here to keep on to Kaluge, as you do see the bubble protection, the follow-up KO, and another Kaluge. Well done on this Magneto.
Yeah, but I still don't mind this from FlyQuest, right? They got the cart in the fight in a good spot. Now they have a good recontest, considering how things went for the defense on Sentinels. They were not able to get a defense here, a second one rather, after they lost that fight. So now FlyQuest wants to win here.
Yeah, teams at this level do not stagger unless they need to. They all saw the chance of them falling. Every single one of them that could get out of the fight and reset did, and they just waited. But Amazing saying, nah, I'm going to get another early pick. does take out Cooper. Make that energy as well, right? Amazing. Oh my goodness, he's just different. Following it up under the Groot. Make that a Quadra. Again, we see a Penta. Oh my goodness, as they are able to take point 2. And it is going to get pushed here to the final point. And will this be enough for them to take this W?
And this is brutal. I don't know if this is nerves or what from FlyQuest. Like we said earlier, how, you know, Sentinel is such a storied team, have won MRC previously. They've got nerves of steel. FlyQuest, it seems like they don't, because Cooper got that copy early. Sentinels knew they were in a good spot to now push in afterwards, and FlyQuest tried to get something out of Cooper's copy. They just went a little bit too far and got picked because of that.
Yeah, Ryan Amazing, those picks without having to use all economy at all, just sheer headies. I think it's a 2-piece on energy and Spark Chief. This man cannot be stopped. Ryan Amazing with a reset again on a clone. They do take out Zelos with the early pick, and it's not going to be enough to get... Wait, they did reset somehow. Must have been another while they were in the sky, which can happen. Oh, that's crazy. Now at this point, he's going to dive towards spawn. No, is going to hold back to not get picked. That's a smart decision in my book.
Yeah, definitely a smart decision. FlyQuest now have to come through. 2 fights Sentinels has here. See what FlyQuest wants to do. Ryan Amazing constantly fishing for hooks. That's a danger for sure, but FlyQuest have ultimates to work with this in this fight.
And there goes the Strangling Prison follow-up. They are going to use that invis boundary to just lock off line of sight. Ooh, Gomez did get a fair amount of light, with potentially 4. Chose to take out Kaluge and still gets a few outside of that as FlyQuest sweeps them right back and will have ult advantage in this next fight.
Yeah, I mean, they were all so low, but for some reason the follow-up wasn't there. Meanwhile, Light just had a nice combination on his own. Gomez, I mean, that could have been the nail in the coffin. FlyQuest holding strong, 55 seconds left to go.
I think Zelos popping that invis boundary, getting rid of the LOS on the Wolverine. No one knew where he was at, I believe. I'm not sure if it was still in the boundary, but either way, really good play there on the defensive side of FlyQuest, and we are going to shove them back towards their spawn door. 40 seconds on the clock. We may see a strange change if something happens here. No pun intended, or rhyme intended, I guess. But we are going to push forward to Zelos, just kind of playing like a vanguard right behind one. And we are going to see Gasman retake and reset here, trying to slow up this pace. We do pop that early. Zelos. My goodness.
They got him before they walked in. It was too aggressive of a boundary from Kurova. The impact from energy shut him out. Spawn cam now coming through. 13 seconds left. Hog switches, but he's not going to be able to portal, and Ryan gets picked. Oh, they're blocking for him. They're going to get the portal. Wait, did he get pulled? He got pulled out of it. No, they're on the court.
Time.
Yeah, they're on the court.
Seconds on. Are they on court?
Yes,
they are on court. As they are able to hold on here to this point, just diving in. Take off cart. Let that OT tick if you need it to. Oh my goodness, Cooper. It's not over yet. It might be. Oh, I'm not sure. Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez.
Back as Light takes out Armory and Kurova. Fly. Just trying to get him off this point. Shoved at this point, a ton of damage. Gasklin saying, where are they at? Down goes Ryan Amazing. Just one up now, I believe, and yes. Wow, FlyQuest with an insane defense and an insane touch by Sentinels, so back and forth. Just a really strong character in this game, up in the conversation to be the very best right now.
Well, Chip, this goes back to our old point where, you know, are subs worth it? Do you want to sub in players, yes or no? I think this will answer it, right? Because they obviously subbed out Energy, one of the best hella players in the game. Now you don't have them available. You've kind of put yourself against the wall, so FlyQuest could have outfunked themselves. But Triple Strategist is still good. We've seen a lot of teams play against the hella composition and not succeed. We'll see if it happens again versus Sentinel.
You know that conversation happened as soon as they joined the pregame lobby. They said, wait a minute, Energy's not here. Do not ban that hella off rip. Let's make that play happen. And that's why comms and conversation, coaching, all that stuff so important as we start this fight. FlyQuest going to be owning space on the point right now. The teleport on the high side, or at least the play on the high side from the side of Sentinel. Shove back in. Corolla in a very dangerous position as Gaslam gets that early pick. Right, Amazing. Going to even the numbers, though. Light falls. They do have that res, I believe, as we are going to see Light come right back into the fight and turn it right back on Right Amazing. Gomez going to find value, too, and take out one. Light down the teleport. We are going to lose our Amori on that cloak. We have been seeing a little more cloak since the buff with a lot more burst heal potential on your front line.
Yeah, awkward situation there. Right Amazing and Kurova got sound. They were on a flank angle, kind of playing that tandem 4-2 sort of split, and they got pushed out, right? FlyQuest immediately realized they wanted to jump on Ryan Kurova, resulting in Kurova getting picked. Yeah, you could say like he had the health pack you could have played around, but regardless, he just was not in a good spot. Now, FlyQuest sitting pretty, already building tick on the point.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a little bit of value, more than a little bit of value there on the res. There's the passive res alone here for Star-Lord with that composition. The Guardians comp just gone and fell early, got KO'd, turn that around and made 2 more in the side of Fly happen after the fact. Light just showing what kind of value you can get when your team thinks you're up numbers. Suddenly that res changes, or at least you have that conversation of we got to relocate wherever he's going to be and be ready to fight him again. That's a great bubble there on the Light. He's going to pop this also going after Rymazing. Rymazing is weak, but great heals onto the back line. Good focus. Up into the sky. Kalu's looking for a dunk. Does find one. Zelos goes down. Might have the rest up though. I do believe he's going to fall back and make that happen. Gomez with a good. Ooh, Kraken impact this up again with a reset. Will they find another? Does connect with a few, but we do have that on the ground, and they are just going to keep battling on point. We have Gomez.
Reset.
Oh my goodness, not able to make it happen.
No, doesn't get the reset, but he's still getting damage down range. Light, oh my god, barely escapes. Also, FlyQuest still in control of the point. Nice work from Gomez. They want to close it out on FlyQuest.
Yeah, I mean, Cloak with that Eternal Bond on the field, it does slow down the pace like crazy. Really strong healing there. Obviously, it does not lap like it used to, but it does cover a ton of area. Great pick again as Sentinels are going to try to even out these numbers, but that's a great first hold for FlyQuest. You can't deny it as they're almost at 80%. Should be enough for them if they need to switch over to Strange, because you're roughly 20%. If you're still falling, try to get back, get the teleport, and get your team there in a worst case situation. So they are okay should that need to happen. But right now, keeping this pace forward, Light ready to press that Q button though and try to get a few picks. But there is going to be an answer on the side of Aramori.
Yeah, last fight, Spark Chief committed that Groodle commit. It was a little bit ill-advised. And now into this fight, they're not going to have it. Counter Groodle comes out of the backside and immediately met, but also Kraken Impact trying to follow through in the damage.
Yeah, gonna be a moot point, I don't believe. Amazing! Great pick there on Adios! Incredible positioning, following together. Him and Kurova playing a hyper-aggressive backline flank, and it does work out for them like no other, as Sentinels make an incredible early set of picks. Force a ult that should not have been utilized, I mean, obviously without their control, just because that early pick was such a surprise, but really big value there to the side of Sentinels.
Yeah, the pressure Rymazing is providing has been massive with these flanks. FlyQuest, you know, like you mentioned, using ultimates and not getting any fight wins. It's traded back and forth. Gomez also building Kraken Impact incredibly quickly. That's what happens when you're against triple strategists. You build these duelist ultimates so fast versus a comp that just steals all your damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the game of forcing out those ults if possible without using your own and then making value happen when you can. Up again, Gastelum trying to make it 2. Oh my goodness! Instead says, nah, how about I make it 4? That's FlyQuest. It's just gonna run through Sentinels and retake the point with roughly even percentage.
And that's why Spark Chief's ultimate's so big. Destroying Prison and Gaston over the top. They noticed how Kaluj might have used his Iron Curtain earlier. Also, a lot of mobility use. So that was perfection from FlyQuest. Last fight territory, though, they've got strategist ultimates good to go. Zelos, where can he sit to get this res?
And good positioning there on those walls. And I like this play. We talked about this yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, and other, please put your portals backwards so your team can use it as a wall. That did not need to be an immediate source of damage. But Gomez is going to start shutting down 2, 3, as they are going to retake this point, at least so far. No, the rest is up on the side of Zelos, who gets all of them back. You got to follow up with the Bucky. You got to try to connect with as many as possible. There is some time for them to hold on. Great decision-making there for FlyQuest, who is just going to drop back, get healed up, and retake with 13 on the clock. Almost an insane turnaround, but that res positioning was next level.
And what happens here in this fight? Light into the sky. Does Blue try to match him with the Eye of Agamotto in the air? What happens with Sentinels? They hit the Eye of Agamotto. There with the follow-up is, oh my god, Rymazing takes down 2 of the AFK individuals due to the Eye of Agamotto. FlyQuest is really just falling apart now.
Wow, Sentinels looking really good. The confidence is back. Hulk is out, and they are going to take home map 1 of this domination to try to even out the score here. But yeah, they are going to speed out here, going to make the swap likely, unless, I mean, odds of him changing probably 1,000%. You know, you had to believe for a minute. But yeah, I mean, the teleport, like we talked about, I tried to mention it there in the moment. Please put that portal in the opposite direction. If you face it away from your targets, you can use it as a wall, which is something I've learned over time. Everyone, it's just a great takeaway that you see from these pros. If you open it up looking at the enemy, they just get raw damage knowing exactly where you're coming from. It helps them pick you off prior to the fight, but otherwise it's a wall for you to play around. Good ultimate there, and just a hold on as Cooper is just trying to make sure Fly gets this early take. Zelo's gonna fall from, or actually, excuse me, gonna get a pick on Kaluj, and it is gonna get the numbers back in his favor. Will they get this map? Oh, they're trying to hold that aggressively early, but they are gonna play off that as Spark Chief gets another pick on Gomez.
Yeah, they're just going to close it out. What? Corova commits the invisible boundary. Why would you do that? I mean, Gaston does commit the meteor. I mean, they're just going to eventually fall, right? I mean, surely, yeah, that's definitely questionable. But Spark Chief, that was the MVP in that fight, right? Spark Chief walled off with a big wall onto Kalush, who went aggressive with a push alongside Hogs in his strangling prison. So Spark Chief to set up his team for success, that was massive from the group player of FlyQuest.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know about that all, but that does happen. I mean, it could have been a communication thing. We're not in their ears, right? So there could have been a play they were brewing or they saw an opportunity, but no, not able to find a ton of value as we do see the spin above. Ton of damage out, right? Amazing trying to find an off angle. We will find Hogs on point as we do get that Eternal Bond on the ground. And there goes the Strangling Prison. Does get both the Vanguards following up and going to land on him. Trying to deal enough damage to pressure through as we are hearing a res pop. And Zelos bringing the squad back. Oh my goodness, Light gonna take out two. Right, Amazing gonna drop adios. Kalush on Spark Chief. Korova gonna fall as the entirety of Sentinels is getting picked off here. And they aren't able to make anything happen in terms of getting this point back. 45% in the favor of Fly.
Huge ultimate by Hog. Strangling Prison caught everybody except Zelos. And we all know if you don't find the Adam Warlock, you didn't really actually kill anybody, did you, right? They can always come back after that resurrect. So Zelos, huge resurrect from him. He's been the best Adam Warlock so far in the tournament. I mean, that unanimously.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I've seen some insane reses so far in this game alone. So really well played, good focus, seen some early picks by Zelos, definitely playing a really strong Warlock. But here we go again as we are going to try to take a new approach, get the high ground as they should with the Hela. Still taking that off angles. You love to see the dive from both one committed strategist and one duelist, always trying to off angle. As you see Ryan Amazing run around with Korova, and they are trying to find some value, but it does put more pressure on the rest of your team to try to clutch up in the moment. Spark Chief gonna take out Gomez early. Walls go up. Oh my goodness, and they're in danger. Good shade there. Well done to try to hold them into the fight. But we will see if there's more value. Just a ton of over HP, over shield, and over health there. Well done there by Spark Chief, just using that wall to his advantage. The pop, the Ashan, or the Eye of Agamotto, not able to make anything happen, but Hogs does get rid of Gasplin, and there goes Zelos, but Light again with the ult. We have an answer. We do know Adios does, and there it goes. They are going to try to hold on with Adios on point. The res again from Zelos going to bring them back. Zelos going to get a pick. Light going to get a pick. Oh my goodness, Fly! Taking this back and owning it, and shoving them in and taking map 2. But not much, I believe twice so far, and actually one of which was from the side of Light, who pulled out the Storm at one point. But I am surprised to see it right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to stick with it for sure, because in the Brawl meta, I mean, Storm does really well, especially if there's no Hell on the other side. So, Ryan Amazing also going through the comfort pick. We talked about how he's a super good Moon Knight player, was a really good Storm player. In the Brawl, they have so much damage. Hogs also tosses out his ult, but it's met by walls on the side and their own Strangling Prison. But the follow-up damage is over there, over the top side, man. That's why you play Storm. Look how much damage that did as the rest of FlyQuest just walked in.
Yeah, gotta be honest, I was concerned initially with the Strangling Prison just because of all the cooldowns ready, but the team's commit was so heavy. Everybody hard engaged, burned through all the shields, burned through everything that's there in the moment, and did find a ton of value as they're still holding on with ult advantage. This is exactly what Sentinels needs. They need this W to hold on to the tournament. Right now they have the next fight theoretically based on ultimates in the books. As long as Zelos doesn't get a mean res, you gotta use this Ryan Amazing ult early, I would say, prior to them getting that Adios or the Cooper. But Cooper's very close, and now we'll have that boundary ready to launch as we see the Tornado. And it is gonna be matched there with the Disappear. Unfortunately, they weren't unable to know of exact percentage. They were so close, so just a little bit earlier may have found a little more value. But it did force out a few ultimates. Adios very close though as well, as Gomez gonna start dunking. Spark Chief gonna get rid of Gomez early though, and that is not gonna be it and what you want to see. Ooh, Ryan Amazing, nice damage. Good follow up in the Eye of Agamotto as they are still holding on.
Yeah, they are still holding on into the sky. Meteor end as the fight extends to 50% of the board. Double jump away. Didn't save it. Also, Ryan Amazing falls. Everybody else on Sentinel just struggling to live on this point.
That was patience in a nutshell. I don't know if you noticed, but there was actually a bubble there on our Amori, and it just was a game of holding on as Gaston just waited to the very last millisecond. The bubble disappeared and still got the pick. That was huge for the side of FlyQuest, who now have point 64% in the favor of Sentinels, but now ult advantage once again. We keep seeing this happening. Advantage on the side of Sentinels very smoothly goes back towards Fly.
And Gomez is over to Star-Lord. I feel like he was doing fine on the Bucky, and it's also decent versus triple strategist. It's just he kind of inted in that last fight, and now in this case, they're in a bit of a weird spot. Zelos also putting so much pressure onto Ryan Amazing, and here comes an early legendary from Light.
Yeah, I like the Storm pick, honestly. Found some value so far, forces eyes upward, but it is difficult when Zelos is a mean, and I mean mean Adam Warlock player. A ton of poke damage there on the hit scan to help battle that back, but hasn't fallen to it yet, as we do see Gomez trying to match the Star-Lord, feeling very confident on that pick. Oh my goodness, the Strangling Prison is insane, and it gets 2, 3, 4, and they pop the strategist. Unfortunate again for the side of Sentinels. Tries to pop another with a tornado, but that's 2 ults used and no value, as the percentage should be shifting over here to FlyQuest.
Yeah, look, Gomez is back over to freaking Winter Soldier, so like, what was he doing on Star-Lord? It's just, man, I don't know. For Sentinels, this is brutal going to next fight. Fluge is going to have to be another huge savior for this team.
Holy moly, FlyQuest just seems to make it happen in clutch moments. They've been doing this for 3 days now of this tournament, just believing and just turning these fights around that maybe shouldn't go in their favor. Once again, massive ult advantage here for Fly, who did not use much in that last fight, and Sentinels used an absolute ton. This could be a mean turn. I have Agamotto out with a dunk land. Oh my goodness.
It's over, man. It might be over. I don't know. The Fluge didn't even go down, so they're not going to have teleport to spawn. Wait, he's found Zelos on the other side. Getting damaged. I mean, they have sustain too. Gomez has to walk back from spawn, though, and FlyQuest have ultimates. Lights in the sky right now.
Oh, and the res up for Zelos. The panic is starting. This is where all the nerves start colliding. They got to get here quick. We might see switches onto heroes that can fly back. But no, nothing yet. The Gasco's going to find Kurova. Numbers are falling here. Sentinels starting to panic. Spark Chief dealing a ton of damage. Finds another as Gomez goes down. Will they be able to make this play happen? Will this end their series? As they do, push again. Spark Chief gets 2 hogs. Gonna find Light. Right, Amazing finds 1. Numbers back and forth. Light gonna res though. Haramori goes down. Oh my goodness, Cooper takes 2 and the W goes to FlyQuest.